Hi Caroline, can you hear me? Hi Rachel. I'm fine, thank you. Are you? Hi Jill, I'm fine, thank you. Hi Anna. Oh Caroline, you can hear me. Great. Oh, thanks Anna. Lovely, I'm seeing the comments now. Hi Debbie. How is everybody on this wet and windy day? Hi Janita. Hi Angel. Ellen. Paris, hi. Paul, hi. I'm alright, how are you? Hi Pat. I know Rachel, I'm sorry. Hi Karen. Sheila, Christine. Right, let me say before we go any further, I'm trying out some new software. So if I lose you, that's why, and I'll try and come back on. But keep your fingers crossed and let's see if this works. Janita, you're awesome. Can hear me loud and clear. Oh, brill. Hi, Sharon. Oh, thank you. And you binge watching. Brilliant. Sunny but very blustery. Well, it's raining and horrible. Hi, Lynn. Oh no, baking you are. Wow. You're going for a barbecue, that's perfectly fine. Hopefully, if this software works, it should still be recorded. I've only got something simple tonight anyway, so hi Joyce, Alison. Hi Shirley. Christine, hi. Wet and windy. 32 and sunshine you've got. Wow, no. Literally like an autumn day here. The sun tries to come out for 5 minutes and then it's literally blowing. I mean, proper wind, windy and rainy, awful. Right, let me explain about last week. So Hannah had a bit of a problem last week with a car. Nothing major, but she was at golf and we had to call out the recovery people. But because of social distancing, although they would take her car to the local garage where we could leave it ready for Monday, they wouldn't bring her because of she's not allowed to get in the recovery vehicle. And I had to go and pick her up, and it was literally about 45 minutes before I was due to go live. So that's what happened there. And then last Wednesday I literally worked all day and I was just on my last legs, so couldn't do anything. Because lockdown and things is easing a little bit now and things are getting busier with Hannah and a golf, and then I do, part-time work as well as, this and other things. Twice a week is beginning to get a little bit too much for me to commit to. I'm going to try and do them, but I can't promise that I will do them every week. So what I'm thinking is, if I try and stick to one a week, maybe this one on a Sunday, depending on whether I'm meant to be somewhere else, and then I can maybe flip it to another day. But rather than just do something on the machine every Sunday, it might be like today I'm going to show something on the machine, but then next Sunday might be something in Canvas. What do you think? So kind of like what I've been doing for the last however many weeks, but instead of doing it in two, just alternating the weeks. So Patty's saying a beautiful sunny day here in Indiana. Wow. Sharon saying, where do you get the working pad from? I'm not sure. Do you mean this pad on my desk? I sell them in my Stampin' Up shop. So I can see Janita saying that sounds okay. Jennifer saying that sounds okay. And Rachel. Leslie's saying great idea. Oh, thank you, Caroline. So if there's a Sunday when I'm not going to be around, then what I'll do is I'll probably flip that session into the midweek. It may be a Wednesday night, but if I'm going to be carrying on working Wednesday afternoons, then I'm not too sure. So I may do it on another day, but they'll always be recorded. You know, so for anybody, like Christine's just saying, Sunday's best for you because you work, you know, which is fair enough. And obviously I work, you know, during the week sometimes. So I'll try and stick to the Sunday, but then I may have to, you know, move a Sunday into a midweek. I think we'll see how that goes for now. So everyone seems to be okay with that. Susan's saying grateful for all you do. That's lovely. Well, Vicky, I think the best thing to do is assume it's going to be on a Sunday at 5. If I need to move it, then I normally post information on my YouTube community wall. Now, I know a few people have messaged me recently and said they don't know where that is. I think it's I think you find it from a mobile device. So when you go to YouTube and you click on subscriptions, there's like a list that you can scroll along the top, and I think in there it says I can't remember what it says now. I think it says communication or something like that, and you turn it on for messages and video. I could try and post it on the blog as well, but it's remembering, to be fair, for me to do that. Usually I kind of think of the community wall straight away, but maybe I will try and post just a quick blog post if I've got to move it to an alternative day. And then, you know, if I do find that I've got some spare time and I've got something that I want to show, I may just pop on at random other days. Thursdays are usually good for me at the moment, but you know, things change, don't they? Exactly, Paul. They'll always be recorded barring any problems. As I say, I'm trying out this new software today, and I've tried it earlier on today. I came on and did an unlisted and it seemed to save it okay. So alright, so Karen's saying, I have a community icon at the top of the page on YouTube on my PC. Okay, well it probably will be in there, but I think the messages appear, I think, in mobile devices, and they're in a different place. You just literally have to go to, I think, subscriptions, and then I tried it and I can't remember now, and I replied to somebody's message and said, so Rose Lily's saying, miss the beginning, are you going to Sundays only? I'm going to try, Rose, and stick with Sundays only and alternate them. So with the machine one Sunday and maybe with Canvas another Sunday. But like I've just said, if I've got any spare time or any spare capacity, I may just pop on at a random other time. You know, it might be a Thursday morning or a Monday afternoon or something like that. I'm not sure, but I'm not planning on doing those specifically. I think for now I'll stick to once a week. We'll try with Sunday, but we may have to move them if I'm busy. So Mandy G is saying the community board is one of the tabs across your home YouTube channel, but I don't get notified when you post it there. Yeah, Mandy, you've got to turn it on. That's what I mean. I think there's a setting. If you just click on all, there's like options that on my phone, I was able to like scroll across them, and I can't what they all said, and then I came to one and I think it said comments or something like that, and when you click on it there's a settings tab next to it, and then mine was on video only, so in other words I only got notified when somebody posted a video, and there was an option that said video and comments or video and notifications. You've got to turn that one on. I think that's how it works. Like, yeah, Shirley's saying we'll watch online when not available. Yeah, that's fine. Barbara, yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, right, so I'm going to try and flip you to the ScanNCut machine. So let's see if this works. So Mandy's saying I'll have another look, thank you. And Alan is saying hi, all late to the party again. I went to settings, then at the bottom I turned on videos and posts. Yeah, that's it. Videos and posts, or videos and notifications. That's the one. That's what I did on my phone when I was trying to find out how it worked. But I've only done it on a mobile because somebody told me it only works on a mobile, so I'll go and have a look on my desktop later and see if I can find it there. So I think you're just going to have to go to your own YouTube channels where you sign in and literally just have a, you know, a look around, a little ferret around in the settings. So Joyce is saying if you click on the left hand side where it says YouTube, there is a box with 3 lines. Click on that and it comes up, okay? So, you know, it might be in different places for different devices. So yeah, but usually when I go to my community wall, that's where I post things, like when I post a poll or a post to say, you know, here's somebody's photograph of a project that they've made. That's where I post it. And that's kind of like the easiest place, I think, for me to post it, really, rather than having to go there and then go and log into the blog and do it there. Right, you should all be able to see my computer screen. I'm going to bring you in and see if I can zoom in. Okay, so somebody messaged me a few weeks ago, and I don't know if you remember. Do you remember when I did the Mickey Mouse like pop-up box? It was a black and red box, and it had all the characters from within the machine. So like the Mickey and the Pluto and that kind of thing. And then a little while after, I did another one with Toy Story, and it was a bigger box. And I had like Woody and Bullseye and what's she called, the girl from Toy Story? My mind's gone blank. Oh my days. Anyway, my mind's gone blank. I can't think. Somebody will tell me, won't they? And all the characters were quite big, and I had them all like popping out of a box. And I had matting layers behind them, and somebody asked me how I'd got the matting layers. So let me find my spatula. Jessie, thank you. Goodness gracious, I couldn't remember. So the trick that I use to do that, and this will work for any design, so sometimes there's patterns in your machine and you want to do an offset design, and well, there certainly was in my old CM machine. I'm not so sure now since we've got the offset, but there used to be patterns in the machine where you wanted to add an offset or like a seam allowance and you couldn't do it. And I'm just going to go to retrieve data on my machine, and I'm going to go to the USB stick, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to scroll to my folder where I've got my Toy Story designs. And I'm going to bring up Jessie. Now I'm not sure how well you're going to see this, but when I bring her up onto the mat, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. The description name ends with FCN for Norman. Now our file format for the ScanNCut is FCM for mother. So these files that you get on these activation cards have a slightly different format. So if I say OK and OK and put her on the mat, don't know if you can hear the rain, but it's absolutely lashing it down. I'm just going to move you ever so slightly. So this will apply to any design that you get on any of the activation cards, and you should be able to use, as I say, the same trick if you've ever got a file in your machine that you can't add an offset to. Caroline, you can hear it. I know. You thought I was all kidding, didn't you? So I've got her selected, and I can go to edit, and I can go to object edit, and I can go to the size, and I can see that she's 8.70 inches high. And I can make her bigger, and I can make her smaller. So let me put her back to 8 point whatever she was. We'll do 8.75 because it'll be easy for me to remember if I need to, but I shouldn't need to. And if I say OK, you can see here there's no offset option, so I can't make a matting layer for her. Joyce, the designs that you can purchase you can buy on activation cards. If you go to Canvas Workspace online, you can view all the cards and it will show you what designs are on each, but then you need to buy an activation card. So either from a brother dealer, or if you're in the UK, Makers Superstore sell all the activation cards. And they're literally just a little card, look like a store card or a credit card. And they have a 16-digit code on the back that you scratch off with like a coin. And then you go into Canvas Online and you go to your settings and activate the card. And then they'll all show up in Canvas Online. And then to bring them to your machine, you can, transfer them over. So for on the screen now, I'm not sure how well you can see, but the offset icon isn't available. So if I wanted to put a matting layer around her, I've not got an option to do it. So the cheap way to do it is, let me get my mat. I'll just show you this. I've got some old scrapbook paper that's single-sided, and I use all this for testing patterns and things. So the white side, I'm going to stick onto my ScanNCut mat. I'm going to load the mat into the machine. So I'm just flicking between cameras here now today because I'm trying out this software, as I say, so I can see that you can now see my desktop. So I'm just going to flick you back to the machine. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the blade out of the machine. You just move you back ever so slightly. I'm going to use my little pen holder and one of the pens that come in the set of 6. And again, I use, you know, the odd colours that I don't particularly use a lot for things like this. I'm going to put the pen holder into the machine. I'll catch up with your questions in a minute. I'm going to say OK. I'm just going to move her up here. I'm going to say OK, OK, select and draw. So I'll get a drawing and then I can come back to questions. And I'm going to say start. It's telling me I need to move the lever on the side of the machine, so I've done that, got it on draw and start. So while that's doing that, let me catch up with what everyone's saying. Vicky's saying you can buy the designs from Brother Dealer or some are on Amazon. Okay, so yeah, if you're not in the UK, as I say, UK Makers Superstore, they will ship worldwide. Holy moly, told you it was windy and rainy. But yeah, you can get them online or Amazon. So Alan's saying, can you transfer them straight over to Canvas on PC from the online, or do you always have to take onto the machine? You can only access them in Canvas online, Alan. And I'll show you something else in a minute when this is finished drawing. Yeah, you can. I put mine onto a USB stick. Vicky, I don't think you can activate the cards in the PC version. I think you've got to do it in the online version from memory. Cal is saying, hi Ashley, is it just the Disney, the only difference between the SDX 1200 and the machine you have? No, Cal, the Disney machine I have, yes, it does have the Disney designs, but this is the 2200 SDX and it has the, I believe, I've been told, it has the latest updated map feeding system as well. Okay, so that's finished drawing now. So I'm going to say OK. And then this time I'm going to say, hang on, what do I want to do? I'm going to go back and let me just show you this as well before I go any further. So let's say you bring this up onto your machine and you think, okay, I'll send it to Canvas. Where's my spatula? So I go save, I go Canvas, and it says includes a special pattern that cannot be saved to external memory. Okay, so it won't let you save the designs from the machine back into Canvas. So I'm going to say OK, and then I'm going to hit the home button and say yes, it's OK to delete the patterns. So now you can see I've got Jessie drawn. I'm just going to bring this back in, and this time I'm going to say scan, and I'm going to go scan to cut data and start. Now it's telling me that the lever's set to position 2 and I need to move it to position 1 and then I can start. So I'm going to take the pen out of the machine just to stop it from drying up. So let me catch up with what you're saying. Cal's saying Disney collections that makers sell, thanks for all your help. Yeah, they sell all the Disney collections and all the other activation accessories, so you know, like the piercing tool, the embossing tool, all that kind of thing, but they sell all the cards as well. So there's the Pig Pong, you know, the font collection, there's Pig Pong, the boxes collection, and all the Disney collections. So Mandy's saying, I created a design this week in Canvas Workspace and transferred it to the ScanNCut and it cut out. Then I tried to get it to draw, but it said there wasn't a design on the mat. Was it because I created it as a cut line? Definitely yes, Mandy. It sounds as though you created it in the PC version. If you created it in the PC version, it will only ever designate it as a cut file unless you specifically make it a draw file. If you create the file in Canvas Workspace online, that will make your file either a cut or a draw. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this back in now. So let me move the machine around a little bit. So basically what I did, I've called up Jessie, I've put a pen in the machine and I've drawn her, okay? And then it doesn't matter whether you load or unload the mat or not, I'm just doing this in one operation. And then I went to the home button, I went to scan to cut data and scanned her back through the machine. So now I'm going to choose the outline, which is the first option. I'm going to drag in the drag handles just to isolate her a bit more. I'm going to say preview. I can see that I've got a line around the outside. I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to save it into the machine. Vicky's saying, can Mandy go back to her file in Canvas Workspace and change it to a draw file and resave it? Yes, she should be able to. So now I've saved this, I'm going to say OK, and I've saved the scanned outline. So if I go to the home button and say, yes, it's OK to delete all patterns, and then go to retrieve data from the machine, I'm going to scroll to the last page, and here is the cut file now. I'm going to say OK. I can go to Edit, Object Edit, and the offset is now available to me. So if I select the offset, I can now put an offset around her. So I can drag, so I can say OK, I can drag this original scanned image out of the way. I can say OK and delete, and then I've got this offset. So now if I say OK and add and retrieve data from my USB stick and go and find my file, and bring on Jessie the original and say OK, I've now got the original cut file and I've got an offset so I can do matting layers. So if I put one on one side of the mat and one on the other and get some card, let me just push this back out of the way. I can unload this mat and take the paper away because that's no longer needed. I'm going to bring in some card. I'm just going to cut this card down to 6 inches so that I can put both pieces on the mat at the same time. Right, what you're saying, offset's now available, definitely, because what you've done, you've drawn the design, and because you've drawn it and then scanned it, it will make the offset available. I'll try that in a minute, Sandra. So I'm just going to load this back into the machine. Definitely, Leslie. So I'm going to scan the mat. I'm going to put the blade back in. Just make sure that both of these designs are where they should be. I'm going to say OK, select, cut, and start. Right, so I've got an absolutely brilliant from Sheila. I want to join I watch all the time. Cool camera action tonight. Thank you, Mandy. Sandra's saying, was a thought as used when making master fabrics? I'm not sure if I don't understand that comment or if I've missed something. Your offset starts at 0.6, my SDX starts at 4. That's okay, just increase it. I can take mine down. Dawn, don't worry. Right, I'm just having a quick drink. Who asked about the seam allowance? Vicky, I don't think the seam allowance will work with these designs from memory, but I'll check in a minute. Oh, Sandra, that's lovely to know, thank you. I mean, it looks fine on mine, but it's good that you're saying that it looks fine as well. Use a 0.4 then, Christine. That's normally what I would have always used in the past anyway, but like you say, this one defaults to 0.6, so I've just started using that. Lynn's saying, love the little table on the front of the 2200. I have to sit 2 DVDs in front and behind my machine to keep it flat. No, it's great. Cherie, I'm talking about offset, but I think somebody else is talking about seam allowance. Okay, Mandy, so the difference between a seam allowance and an offset is, before we got the offset feature on the machine, we only had seam allowance, and the seam allowances are from your settings wrench on your machine, and in inches they start at 1/4 of an inch. They're meant to be used for patchwork, so you know, like when people sew with a 1/4 of an inch seam. So that's all we had originally, a seam allowance when we first got our ScanNCut machines, our CM machines. So if you wanted to add an offset to some of the designs, you had to use the seam allowance. But obviously in Canvas we had the thing called offset, which enables us to be able to make matting layers for either bigger than the original or smaller than the original. Not sure how well this is cutting with this card, but we'll see. It's more about the offset that I wanted to show you. But now we've got an offset on the machine as well, so it's the offset I would always use for matting layers, not the seam allowance. So let me bring you back here. So there is the offset that I created by drawing the design and then scanning it back through, because it wouldn't let me apply an offset to the file from Canvas because it's an FCN, not an FCM format. It's because the format's different. They basically are not giving you a lot of functionality. You can make the designs bigger, but you can't kind of manipulate them. So let me just see if I can get this off the mat without ripping it. It's actually quite fiddly, I remember. From when I made the pop-up box, which I've not got. I gave it away, else I'd show you. But it is on Instagram. It was a biggish thing. I think it stood about 18 inches high with all the different designs popping out of it. And this mat is quite sticky in parts, so I'll probably end up ripping it, getting it off, but just tap all the pieces out, move that out of the way for a minute. Ignore my scribblings on my pad, I've been working out a project. So this is what I had originally. This came from Canvas on an activation card, and this was how she was. And as I said, I didn't have any matting layer for her, but by drawing the design and then scanning that back through and saving it, I was able to make a matting layer which now fits on there. Hang on, let me just get this in place. Fits on there perfectly. Alan, it's the card I got a few months ago from Hobbycraft. It's 180. It's only thinnish. It says it's 180 grams. Not sure how well you can see that. And those are the colours that came in the pack. So when I made the design with the big pop-up box, this is what I did. I pulled all the figures from Canvas onto a USB stick and put them in a folder. Oh, were we upside down? Oh, blimey, sorry. There you go. And then I literally did this. I drew them all out onto plain white paper, scanned them all back through the machine. Yeah, I've just seen the comment, Alan. Should be the right way around now. And I was able to create matting layers for them all. Yeah, Jenny, I've just realised I'm so used to having to turn things round, but because of this program that I'm using today, and I should have realised because I can see it on another screen on the right hand side of me, but anyway, obviously my brain doesn't work that quickly. So she's the right way round now. And she's got a lovely matting layer, and that's just a little trick. She's standing on her head. Yeah, it's not the cameras, it's the software I'm using actually. It's really good. Touch wood. I say that now, it'll go and crash. So Vicky's saying, can you save the scans into the original Disney folder? Yes, I can. The way I would do it, let's see. Let's bring this back in. I'm going to flip you again. I can see Cherie's answering somebody's question, but I've obviously missed the question. So I am going to see if I can do this. So let's go to home. Okay to delete all patterns. So I'm going to go to retrieve data from the machine, scroll to find the matting layer, say OK. I'm going to say save, and I'm going to put it on the USB stick. Now what it's going to do, it's just going to add it onto the USB stick. So the next time I put the USB stick into my computer, I'll be able to drag it from the stick into the folder. So I hope that answers that question. Now I'm just going to go back to home. I'm going to find that original file and let's see if we can do the seam allowance. So USB stick, scroll down and find my Toy Story folder. Let's find the original Jessie. Say OK. So there she is on the mat. Let's go to Edit, Object Edit, and Seam Allowance. It says seam allowance is off and it won't let me put it on because I think I've tried it. So I'm going to go to the home, OK. Going to go to the settings, scroll down and find the seam allowance. And it's set to 1/4 inch. Go back to the pattern and it won't let me add it. I think I did actually know that was the answer, but I'm just double checking. So it won't let you add the seam allowance. So that was why I came up with the idea of drawing it. So the seam allowance is there, but it says it's off and it won't let you put it on. So you can't use the seam allowance on the designs from the activation cards. Plus the fact the seam allowance of 1/4 inch would probably be too big anyway. It would look too chunky. So doing it with the offset is the better option, I think. Hi Helen. I've just seen a comment about somebody saying they're putting WD-40 on the blade in case it has any sticky stuff on it, and that works good. So I've obviously missed something there. Vicky's saying Disney makes you work for your layers. They definitely do, yeah. I mean, there is a layer that looks... Let me swap you back. There is a layer that looks like this green one I've made in the machine. Sorry, not in the machine, on the activation card, but it's a solid layer, but it's the same size as the pink one. So it would literally only go directly behind and show an alternative colour through. It's not bigger like the one I've just made as a matting layer, if that makes sense. And you know, if you want the layer to be the exact same size, then that's fine. But the look that I wanted when I created my project was I wanted the layers to be bigger. So this was the way I had to come up to do it. Right, where are we up to? Cherie's saying, Lynn, each machine has got its own personality and it's trial and error until you get used to it. It definitely is, Cherie. Barbara saying, I tried to import a design into Canvas Workspace but couldn't do anything with it as the grid was white around it. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm not sure what you mean, Barbara, by that. I tried to import a design into Canvas Workspace but couldn't do anything with it as the grid was white out around it. Try and explain to us a bit more, Barbara. Sandra, you're welcome. Christine, I'm not sure whether I'll do it again. It took me ages. I suppose I could, but it literally did take a long time because I cut... Well, let me have a look what's on the USB stick, because I cut most of everything that was on the USB stick. Just give me 1 minute. Let me go home. Let me go to retrieve data and onto the USB stick and see what I had on here. So I There was Jessie, there was Bullseye, there was Woody. I did all that, and I've got other things on here as well. I can't remember what I cut, but it was quite a big project and it took quite some time to do. Okay, Barbara, so you're saying you had a design, but it was in a white box. So were you trying to auto trace it? Is that what you mean? I'm not sure. What kind of a design was it, Barbara? Was it a JPEG or was it a cutting file? When did I, let me think, what did I do? Several weeks ago on a Wednesday, I showed how to auto trace a colouring page, Barbara. It was a Wednesday night live, so it'll be in the live playlist, and it was an owl, and I think I did something else as well from memory. That live may help you. So Cherie's saying, I think it's scanned in the background, Ashley. Is that what we're talking about for Barbara? If that's the case, I think maybe go and have a look at that Wednesday night live video, Barbara, and see if that helps. I'm not sure. Vicky's saying, what is the camera software called? It's called, oh, for goodness sake, my memory. Oh, my days. It'll come to me in a minute, Vicky. I can't remember. I'll carry on reading and then it'll come to me. Charlotte, yes, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I was wondering what kind of... So Barbara's saying it was supposed to be a cutting file. Right, well, if it's meant to be a cutting file, Barbara, so if it's a ScanNCut cutting file, an SVG or an FCM, you should be able to ungroup it. If you can't ungroup it, try dividing it and breaking it up and then drag the parts, the parts away that you don't want. If it's an image, if it's a JPEG or a PNG, then you're going to have to use the auto trace, which is what I did in the live several weeks ago. And I still can't remember what the name of this flipping software is. Goodness sake. It'll come to me, and if it doesn't, I'll post a message. You remember it, Barbara? Okay, well, maybe try that. If it's a cut file, you don't need to auto trace. That's what I'm a bit confused about. If it's definitely a cut file, then if there's no ungroup function, try the divide. Again, I think we've covered that recently in a Wednesday night session. Leslie's saying, made several cut files with the help of your tracing video. Yeah, you've done some, I know you have, Leslie, well done. And how did you import it? Scanned in the machine, started with a file on your computer or the internet. Charlotte, what we're talking about now? So Mandy's saying, I used the trace functions this week to cut HTV for the first time. Brilliant. So you made a cut file from something. That's good. Janita, I can't remember. My mind has just gone completely blank. And I'm looking at it and it's not saying, and I don't want to touch anything because I'll probably end the stream, but I will. I'll post it unless if it doesn't come to me before I go. Barbara's saying maybe it was a PNG. Well, if it's a PNG, it's an image, so you've got to auto trace it. Barbara's saying I was looking for free SVGs, but who knows? Right, well, you need to look at the file extension, Barbara. If it's an SVG, open it up in Canvas. If there's no ungroup function, select it and try using divide, and that should break it up. If it doesn't, some SVGs just can't be broke apart. It depends how they were made. You could try using Inkscape. I've got videos on my channel from years ago using Inkscape, but I don't use it anymore because it used to make my Mac crash. So that's why I stopped creating Inkscape videos. Excuse me. Charlotte's saying you've had enough on your mind this past week, Ashley. Not remembering a software name is understandable. I can't remember anything. My memory's going absolutely shocking. I won't mind, I've not had this flipping software that long, and I've just been playing around with it the last couple of days, and I can't remember its damn name. It's a kind of Switcher Studio, but it's not Switcher. I can tell you that. Switcher, you have to pay about £39 a month for. This one you can buy, but it's free so long as you're only using 2 cameras. So basically I've got 2 old iPhones, one on my desk, one pointing at the ScanNCut machine, and I'm using my iPad Pro as the switcher. And it's free, supposedly, if that's all you're using. But if you want to use more camera angles, you've got to pay for it. And I think it's about £20 a month, which compared to Switcher Studio is like half price. But I just can't remember its name. It will come to me at some point. So Barbara's saying I did try all the divide, etc. Okay, well, I'm not sure then, Barbara. It depends. If it's a PNG, then the divide probably wouldn't work. But I need to know really what the extension was, what the file extension was, to be absolutely sure. Just give me 1 minute because I've got my phone on for comments. Let me just see if I can find out what this flipping software is called. Right, I'm back. It's called CinaMaker, CINAMAKER. Because I use Ecamm when I'm doing filming from my computer. I use Ecamm, which I pay for, and that enables me to screen share my screen and attach one camera, which is what I did a few Wednesdays ago, if you remember, when I had my screen on and I was showing you something on the machine. That's Ecamm, and I pay for that, so I didn't want to have to pay for something else to do here in this room where I've got all my machine, my ScanNCut machine and everything. And I've looked at Switcher on and off for years, but as I say, I think it's $40 or £40 a month, which is a lot, and I didn't want to pay that. And I've been searching and searching and searching, and I came across this via something else, funnily enough. So I downloaded it and I've installed it on all the different mobile devices, and I was on YouTube earlier doing an unlisted and it seemed to work, so I thought I'd try it. And touching wood, it seems to be working okay. Right, so Cherie's saying, Barbara, Canvas will definitely, it is an image on the layers tab if it's just a drawing. Make the ScanNCut seem easy. Rachel's saying, you're very good at crafting, now on to camera work. No, I'm just trying it out. As I say, I was a bit worried about trying it because I thought it was probably going to crash. But it seems to be okay. I might need to fine tune it a little, but Maria, don't worry, hopefully it will be recorded. Right, I've covered what I wanted to show tonight anyway, so unless there's any more questions, I'm going to go. So Vicky's saying, I found a pop-up with Mickey and Minnie on your Instagram. Haven't found the one with Jessie. Right, hang on. Let me go and have a look myself. 1 minute. Sure, I put it on there. I can't see your comments now, so you're going to have to wait a few minutes. Yes, it is. It is on there. It's in between the photograph of the white die-cut shapes. And it's got Jessie, Woody, Bullseye. It's got a number 3. That was right, I remember now. It was for a 3-year-old's birthday party. And it's got a star. So it is on there. Let me come back to you. So Vicky, yes, it is on there. Just keep scrolling down and you'll find it. Barbara's saying it was just a cat silhouette. Okay, well, if you were looking for a cat silhouette, Barbara, go to DeFont and there's a font called Kitty Cat and they've got silhouettes that you can use there. It's a dingbat. So again, I've covered dingbats. They just act like a font and that will give you a simple cutting file. Mandy's saying, when I created an FCM design this week, I like to use the fill function to help make it look right on screen. When I opened it again on Canvas Workspace, it was just an outline. Is that right? If you didn't fill it in Canvas Workspace, it will show as an outline. I think, is that what you mean, Mandy? Linda, you're welcome. Yeah, Cherie, I think that's what I'd be tempted to try if she's not actually sure what it is. Try the auto trace, and if it lets you auto trace it, then it's an image. That's what I would say. If it's a cut file, there's no need to trace it. Rachel, you're welcome. Thank you. See you soon. Anna, you're welcome. Bye, Rachel. Right, any last questions before I go? I'm going to have a quick drink. I have noticed that there's a little bit more of a delay with this, but Caroline's saying, can you show us how to create sayings with multiple words and fonts next, Canvas Workspace? I can do. I've done something similar when I did that Pinterest inspired live. If you go back and have a look at that, Caroline. The problem with Canvas is you can't do carriage returns, so you literally have to type all your words separately and then line them up. Barbara's saying, got some homework this week. Let us know how you get on, Barbara. If all else fails, you can always email me the file, Barbara, and I can have a look at it. But once you find it, wherever it is on your computer, it should have an extension and you should know whether it's, you know, an FCM or an SVG, or whether it's a JPEG or a PNG. So Mandy's saying, I used colours and saved it as an FCM, but when I opened it in, the colours had gone. Yeah, the colours don't come through over onto your machine. Even if you put something in Canvas Workspace and your colour and your outline colour, you know, if you've got two shapes in Canvas Workspace, Mandy, and you colour one red and one blue, those colours don't transfer over to the machine. The machine doesn't cut by colour. It can't recognise colour. It can only recognise outline. The only reason that the colours are there in Canvas are to help you visually. Patty, you're welcome. Night, Alison. What Cherie's saying, the giveaway with the drawing is the lack of background markings. Okay. Yes, Karen, same to you. Joyce, you're welcome. Vicky, blackcurrant juice. Nothing exciting. Jennifer, you're welcome. A drawing will show us a solid white background unless it's been removed before saving, Cherie's saying. So yes, so Cherie's obviously trying to help answer the questions from Barbara. Thank you, Sandra, you're welcome, Barbara. We'll do my best to solve it. Like you say, Barbara, that's your homework. Thanks for the tutorial, very clear steps, clear images on the canvas. Oh, thanks, Vicky. Can you please cover at some point problem solving between not cutting cleanly, pressure, speed, cardstock and blades? If I have a problem, I'm never sure what to change first. Okay, Lynn, is it a CM machine that you've got? I can't remember. Barbara's saying thank you for tonight. I noticed the July sketch is out. You're welcome, Caroline. Yes, I posted it the other day. Susie Chocolate, you're welcome. Thank you. Yes, and you take care. Dawn, thank you. We'll catch up when the vid's available. Please remember to thumbs up. Rose Lily, thanks. Ashley, Rachel, that sounds good. Lynn, I have trouble. Thanks for all your help. Sounds yummy. I like cranberry. Can pretend it's wine. Right, Lynn. Well, what I would say with the 900 is I've got a blog post coming out tomorrow. If you have a read of that, that may help. It explains about how all the blades were set differently, or the blade holders. The first thing I would try is to hold your blade up against the card that you're cutting, like I showed in one of the lives several Sundays back, to give you an idea of how much blade you need. And then I would start off with a default pressure in your machine. So go into your settings and go to cut pressure and change your number until you get a white number in a black box, and that means it's a default setting. So I'd start with a default setting for your cut pressure. Try putting your blade with the holder up against your card until you can see the tip protruding through, and that should give you a starting point. And then use a test cut. Don't cut your design first because you'll just end up wasting all your card. Do a test cut. If the test cut doesn't cut cleanly, I would try taking the blade up a notch and try a test cut again. If that doesn't work, take your cut pressure up and do it alternately until you get a good clean cut. Charlotte's saying, Barbara, please let us know how it goes. I'm nosy. That's fine. Joyce is saying, bye all. Angel's saying, thank you. Okay, Charlotte, won't make next Sunday, the following week. That's fine. Susan is saying, camera is very clear. Thanks. Brilliant. Right, I'm going to go then. So I'm going to see if we can get all this uploaded, and Barbara's saying I think I need the extra time anyway. Well, hopefully by the time you come back, Barbara, you'll have a solution for us, by which time I will have forgotten what you were telling us, but don't worry. No worries, Leslie. Take care. And I'm going to go now anyway. So obviously message me like people are doing if you've got any questions, and I'll try and get back to you in the meantime. But hopefully next Sunday, and we'll probably do something with canvas. So I'm going to go now. Take care, everybody. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now. Oh, sorry, Lynn. No, I would go up in notches. Go to 4.5 in blade, and then pressure, just take it up a notch at a time. So if the cut pressure's on 2, put it to say 3. And on your blade, if your blade's on 4, maybe put it to 4.25 or 4.5. I know it's not easy because the marks are not in between the solid numbers. But as I say, if you read the blog post tomorrow, it will hopefully explain about the blades as well. Yeah, it seems to be at the moment, Charlotte. We'll keep trying it when I'm doing these on the desk. The other software is fine for my computer, but I needed another option for in here. Right, I'm going. Okay, take care everybody. Yeah, that's a good idea, Cherie. Questions in capitals so I can see what's going on and what's answers. Yeah, good idea. Right, I'm going. I'll see you all soon. Take care everybody. Bye for now.